Welcome everyone to the L7C podcast UFC edition. Today we are back and my goodness, this we got a lot to talk about but what's going on in the world of the fight game. We have the MMA expert with us, Mr. Chuck Marlowe. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. Yeah, like you said, we have a lot to talk about. UFC has just been wild right now. Combat sports in general has just been wild. Headline after headline, just event after event. So we'll see. We got a lot to talk about. Yeah.
Yep, last time we were just on about a week or so ago, and we were previewing 326, and we were talking about when the White House card was going to drop. Of course, the history of this podcast, as soon as we started asking some questions, they announced it's going to drop. As soon as the podcast was about to come out, Dana White says the White House card was going to drop literally at the night of the UFC event this past Saturday. That happened, and we are going to pull up the card. Let's see if I can get a clean look at it for you. I don't want that. I want the picture so that we can have it posted.
Yeah. UFC Freedom, UFC 250. Freedom
Yeah.
250. And that's
Yeah, I guess I'll this will be what we share. It has what we need. All right. If you're looking right here, Chuck, I don't care about all this other stuff. But basically, right here are the matches that were announced for the White House card, the main event.
yep.
Ilya versus Gaethje, and then main card by they got Pereira versus Ghana for the interim heavyweight championship. You got Sean on there, Michael Chandler, Bo Nickel, Diego Lopez, Steve Garcia. Chuck, what was your first initial reaction when you saw the White House card?
First initial reaction were, oh, people are going to be mad. That
Okay.
was my first initial reaction. Once I saw who was on there, what was on there, yeah, I was like, people are gonna be mad. People are gonna hate it. I felt now how I feel is a different thing. Like how did I feel when I first saw it? I don't know. I mean, I liked it just in general, just because we're getting more fights and they finally announced it. I mean, to me, that's how I felt. But I do feel like it was underwhelming to what they made it out to be. Just like, I mean, to say this is going to be bigger than the sphere, bigger, I mean, to be, if we're talking about it, yeah, this card is bigger than the sphere card. I mean, if you talk about the fights that are on there, it's bigger than the sphere card. The budget is bigger than the sphere card. The promotion is probably bigger than the sphere card. Everything going into it is bigger than the sphere card. But it's not like what some of the stuff that was mentioned or it didn't live up to the hype. That's really what it comes down to. It didn't live up to the hype that everyone thought it was going to have. And I mean, personally, if you put this as like UFC 330 and you didn't call this UFC Freedom 250, like this would be a good card and people would be happy. They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, this is a stat card. Like this is great." Like because you have eight main eventers at least, well, really, yeah, eight main eventers, technically nine main eventers on the main event. So you have nine main event fighters, all people who can have a fight night or a title fight on the main card. So, I mean, yeah, that's a win, but you don't get I mean, four title fights is what most like people were thinking it was going to be like four to set. Shoot, Donald Trump was in there. There's going to be eight title fights. Like, psh, yeah. This is one fourth of that, buddy. Um, yeah, I mean, I as a fight fan and just a fan of fighting and combat sports, I mean, I like it. I mean, you have Ilya Tapura, and then you have Justin Gaethje. I mean, two people with insane hype. Justin Gaethje coming off of his win with a lot of momentum in the interim championship. And then you have Ilya, I mean, who's on his streak at 17-0, had been knocking out legends left and right. And he has an opportunity to knock out Justin Gaethje and really send a message to everybody. And then after all the hype from his divorce and stuff and him winning that and just the momentum he has carrying with him, the platforms he's been on with like streamers like Aiden Ross. I mean, it's just generating more views and attention, and Ilya Tapura has a lot of attention. And then you go look underneath that, you got Alex Pereira and Cyril Gahn. Like, I mean, Alex, who number one is looking to do something by getting three championships and three different weight divisions, and he vacated his belt to move up to heavy or for heavyweight interim championship. And I mean, that's a great fight. And you have Cyril Gane, who looked like he was about to knock out Tom Aspinall, who's the current champion in the last fight. So I mean, it's good. I mean, then you go down in there, you have Sean O'Malley, who literally was just a championship not too long ago, or champion not too long ago. I mean, Sahabi has some like Sahabi, sorry, has a lot of hype behind him right now. But I mean, Sean can easily just take that away and continue to ride back into championship contention. And then you have Mauricio Rufy versus Michael Chandler. That's not who everybody thought Michael Chandler would be fighting on this card. That's one reason why everybody's pissed, because everybody thought Connor would be fighting Michael Chandler on this card. Then you got Bo Nickel. People are going to be pissed off if he wrestles. I mean, I know he can strike and do other things too, but they're going to be pissed if he wrestles. You got Diego Lopez, who was just fighting Alexander Volkanovski for a championship as the first fight against Steve Garcia. So, I mean, it's not like it's a bad card, but it's underwhelming as to the names, the amount of championships on the line. Like you tell me you couldn't call up two female fighters and get two female fighters other than Amanda Nunes and Kayla Harrison. Like I know she might still be recovering from injury and everything by then, but like you couldn't call up some other people to get put onto here too. I don't
Yeah, I think, man. So the way you broke it down from like a pure fighter's perspective, I think obviously all these fighters are good. Like the fights are going to be good. The problem is that Dana, and I think it's funny that both the TKO companies are having this issue of all year he was talking about like, oh, you guys don't know what we got for this White House card. You won't believe it. And we talked about it on this last podcast, Chuck. He was getting the fantasy, as I call in wrestling, the fantasy bookers too hyped.
know.
Like everyone was expecting, and no, everyone was expecting. Well, we're going to talk about him, John Jones, Conor McGregor, obviously Nunes, Kayla Harris. Like they're expecting all these things, and then they see these names, and they're like, "What?" Like this is for most people. They felt like it was very underwhelming. You know, people wanted Pereira versus Jones, and like you alluded to, they wanted Connor versus Chandler. They wanted some other people to come back out of the woodworks. You know, these big names that they know, like a Nate Diaz, stuff like that, to come out every time for stuff. But it didn't happen. So I felt the biggest thing was Dana was selling people a dream, which is what he's supposed to do. He's a promoter. But then when you see the card, you're just like, for someone not like you who loves the sport, you know these fighters can go yada yada. For like the casual who now Mighty Mouse, a UFC legend, he's saying now Ronda's saying that that's who they're trying to appeal to now. The casuals don't know who most of these people are,
Yeah. I mean,
and that's the problem. That's I think that's where it's
the top five. Well, I mean, if you
Like
think
Alex
about it,
Pereira is the one. Like I mean, he's
Alex, everybody knows.
yeah.
Ilya, right now, everybody knows.
Hmm.
Justin, everybody knows. Cyril, I mean, mostly everybody knows. Sean, everybody knows. Michael Chandler, everybody like they're big names. Like Diego,
Right.
like I said, you have nine main eventers. That's nine people that everybody, even if it's a casual, you should know because they're usually always going to be a headline name
Right.
or a main event. So, I mean, it's not bad. That's how I got to keep pitching it. Like, it's not bad. It's just not the greatness that people were expecting, like you said.
Right.
Because, like, I mean, you said it, the fantasy bookers, appeasing to the fantasy bookers. I mean, I was looking at, there were so many fantasy cards. There was like John Jones versus Perea. Then you
Hmm.
had Francis Ngannou versus Aspinall. And then you had like Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes,
Hmm.
um, Michael Chandler and Connor.
Hmm.
You just like, there was so many just like random like they had Izzy and Robert Whitaker like different like they just threw like as a prelim like an early prelim like they were trying to throw together like the most mega event they could on these fantasy things, which I get, but like I mean some of those were outrageous and egregious. Some of them were wishful thinking and actually seemed like they could be realistic according to how Dana was pitching it.
Yeah. And that's where I think the thing lies. And then it doesn't help. I know with Dana, this is where he talks about, he doesn't put a muzzle on his fighters, but it don't help when the people within your own company are saying it's trash. That does not help.
Oh yeah, I
That's
mean yeah.
that's the difference
You
between them and WWE. Like, no one in WWE, they're gonna be mad, like, oh, I'm not on the WrestleMania card per se, but they're not gonna say the WrestleMania card's trash because that affects their bottom line too.
yeah,
But
they're
UFC, your own coworkers are saying the card's trash, delegitimizes it a lot.
yes. I mean, yeah, I mean, you got most of these guys. And you're right. Data doesn't put a leash on them. He lets them do whatever they're supposed to do. I mean, he's not restricting people's freedoms, and that's it can be problematic. Like you see, he is in a predicament with a lot of these fighters and promoters and like you have everyone just pretty much when that was announced like talking about it and how trash they thought it was. So that does not help when you have people with all these big platforms, especially someone like Connor who has as many followers as he has and he's just sitting there like there's so much attention on it and none of it is positive.
Hmm.
There's no like there is no that night there was no positive attention because I mean we didn't even go over we're not we have we're probably, I don't know if we're going to go over it, but with Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira with the whole 2 minute blackout for the UFC event that night, and people missed like 2 minutes on Paramount because the stream went down and were without the rest of the thing. So you have that stacked on top of the fight announcement, plus the other stuff with Rousey, which we'll probably get into later, and how that's going. Like it's just all it's a crash course right now. That stock is dropping. If you're sitting there looking at like the UFC stock, that shit has to be dipping right now.
Yeah, that's what and I almost felt like that for a second. I almost felt like that drop was intentional.
You never
Like it
know.
was like dang, we're getting a whole lot of negative on the White House card. Let's do a little drop so it just changes the conversation a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, that's why I don't like it. I know other people on there. I know I personally I personally don't like some of these people for other reasons, but like like a Covington and all of them. I know they're very outspoken, Strickland, those types. I mean, they're still part of the company saying your car is bad. That's not good. Um,
And I think they're just, I mean, butthurt
oh, I
that they're
know
not
they're
on the
butthurt
car
because
for
they want to
sure.
be on. Because they're like, how are we not on the card? Like all the America
Yeah,
first, all that
but
stuff. I,
I
I
mean,
know
let's
they're
be
hurt.
realistic. Trump don't want Covington. I mean, look at the last fight Covington had, and Trump looked ashamed to see Covington trying to sport his name around in the octagon. All
When's the last time
right,
he
take
won a
it
match?
easy. I don't even remember. That's the funny thing. I don't even remember when the last time he won a match was. It's been so long.
So that's what I think is tough. I mean, for them, but then going to the other things. All right. Because there's just been so much. So we'll stay within the UFC, then we'll talk about the people outside the UFC who said stuff. John Jones. He said that Dana and them were trying to reach out. He was getting lowballed financially, and then the things fell apart. Initially, Dana said he never talked to John Jones, and then he backtracked and said, I never talked to John Jones. Our people were talking, but I never like talked to him. But there, our fight, whoever the bookers reached out to everybody. So he backtracked and changed the words to I never talked. We never talked to him. To our bookers went and talked to everyone, and then John went on he went on a Twitter tirade, bro. He said he basically was just to paraphrase. He said, "Stop lying on my name. Like you're lying." And like at this point, I want he wants to be released from UFC. So first, let's start with his saga. Chuck, what are your thoughts on that?
John. He can't keep playing this game with Dana. I mean, it's the same thing always for him. I mean, he's really looking for an opportunity a lot of the time, and they just don't know how reliable he is. That's really what it comes down to. They don't know how much they can really rely on him to be available when they need him. And they don't want any excursions to happen. They don't want him to be, and so apparently they said they talked to his lawyers and everything, like you said. But like this ain't good for John. John just needs to go and get out. Like he had his $30 million leverage because of the Benavidez contract when Dana signed that boxer and pissed everybody off. He had an opportunity. And I just think that Dana won't pay him because he knows if he pays him, he has to pay everybody else. And everybody else is going to be up there asking for their chunk of change next too. And I mean, to be fair, I think everybody deserves their chunk of change. But Dana, I think with his shareholders, like some people said, like Rhonda said, he needs to meet that revenue and keep it at a certain rate. And he's doing what he can to make sure he keeps his job. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable for most people, but yeah, I to let that fall through with John and not be able to work anything out, regardless of him going, because that's what Dana does a lot of the time. It's a lot of back and forth, a lot of usual him saying, no, I didn't do this, and then going, oh, yeah, I did do this, or X, Y, and Z, or I did do this and I didn't do this. It's just a whole lot of dancing around the issue a lot of the time. And it's just like, pay the man. Yeah, I mean, set a new precedents, and maybe you will get more hungry fighters. Because I can tell you what, you pay somebody that much, and I guarantee you they're gonna work their ass off for that 30 million. But then you also got the counter to it where it's like you pay this person this much, maybe they're not gonna be as hungry to fight. They're not gonna want to be as active to fight because they're not needing the money as much. He needs his fighters to need money in a way, it feels like. So that way they feel hungry to fight. And I feel like that's part of the issue.
Yeah. Right. Those two, it's weird because I here's the thing, which I do get with the money thing. If he's your company's goat or whatever, a big draw, you should pay him. However, if you if Dana would have said something else, I would have completely understood why he kept John off the thing. If he would have said he kept John off the thing because he can't rely on him in these big type of events, I would have agreed with that.
Yeah. I feel like most people would. Most people would have been like, all right, I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, it checks out. Like, honestly, that's the rumor mill usually always anyway. And they would have been like, yeah, I mean, that checks out. That
Because
would have
I'm
been most
like,
of people's reaction.
because 200, I mean, that's the prime one for me. 200 is supposed to be him versus DC, and DC was really at the peak of his accident. I would have loved to see that fight, and then that obviously drugs and like if you look through John's thing and some of these bigger matches, they've had to reschedule because he's been popped for something or in trouble. So if he would have said he's not on the White House card because I couldn't and trust him in this big spot because we've had these spots and he's failed us before, I would have been like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, John, he's gotten himself into too many excursions too many times where fights got canceled, or like just with all of his tirades in general, like with getting arrested, they just don't want that risk.
Yes. Yes, especially the White House card. So then he's asking for his release from UFC and all of that. Obviously, we know Dana. I don't even know how that works. I mean, if he's retired, then why would he be asking? Oh yeah, he entered the testing
Yeah.
pool again.
Yeah,
That's
he
why.
unretired to get onto the White House card. But then you
Mm,
have like you had him around on the thing with him in DC and Russia for the wrestling, pretty much like Ultimate Fighter version in Russia for wrestling. And you know, him talking about his hip arthritis and it being severe. So like where are you at in your career, dog? Like what are you really at in your career? So that's
mm,
another aspect that might have been taken into consideration. Like where's your health and what are you like doing
hmm.
proactively about it? Could have been a thing that could have been a risk that they don't want to take as well. So like I get all sides and all aspects, but also the other thing for this really that I think is it's not good for John Jones' mental health because I mean John, whenever upset, usually is when he goes on his tirades and you've seen his brother and Chandler Jones and what he's done before and his tirades and stuff. And for him to go in the bed and be on live is also concerning to me because it's like, all right, is this old John where he gets pissed off because he doesn't get his way, you know, and crash out? Is he on the cycle for a crash out? Is he in a hotel because he can't be near his family because he's on the verge of crashing out? You know, I mean, I know he's traveling and doing a lot of other things too, probably is the real reason why. But it's just like, I can't keep doing this to him. So, yeah, one to get released. I mean, I get it.
The thing is, Chuck, if he does crash out, see, Dana would have been able to use my excuse to justify. See, that's why I can't have him on the card.
Oh, see, but the thing is, if he crashes out, there'll be an interview at some point and he'll be like, oh, yeah, see, that's why we didn't have him on the card. Like, you
Hmm.
know, that's going to be the first thing he'll point to and deflect. And he's like, oh, good. He'll be like, thank goodness that John did that. In the back of his mind, he's like, "Oh, thank goodness he crashed. Like that helped me get a buyout." You know,
Yeah, yep, yep.
CYA.
Another point of this one, obviously, then was the Conor McGregor piece because people thought he was going to be fine. I did not personally. And now they're just like, how could you not have your biggest pay-per-view draw in history not on this card? And now, Ariel was talking about maybe he'll be at International Fight Week or whatnot. None of the stuff is guaranteed. Apparently, he still has two fights left on his contract
Yep.
still. And I'm just like, I get it. The name, the selling and all that. But guys, the past couple times we've seen him, he's been getting rocked.
Yeah, that's true. And it's like, I mean, he says he's training the hardest he's ever trained in his life. I mean, yes, there's always going to be hype around like, you know, training and different things like that to make the fighters look like they're on top of their game. We have no idea what shape he is in. You have no
Hmm.
idea what condition he's in. You have no idea what he looks like because it's been so long. And what have we seen in most cases where a fighter has not been in the ring long and they've come back? Even in his case, too, because I mean, we've seen him happen to him before. Rhythm's not there, just very flat, very boring, and gets the dog shit beat out of them because they're just not ready to fight anymore. So, I mean, could he be in that situation? For sure. Could he not? For sure. But we really don't know. And that's the thing. And that's the thing with Dana. No one knows really what condition he's in. So why take that risk of putting him on the card? And shoot, he could end up with some shenanigans and debacles himself because, I mean, look at all the stuff he's been into lately. You could put the same tag on him as you can put on John almost. I mean, yeah, he hasn't been like pulled out of fights and stuff because of things of that nature. But he's definitely been in a lot of legal trouble, which has messed up a lot of fights for him and a lot of other situations.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And then you've had what connected to the John thing. You had Francis Ngannou, who you shared recently. He's just been released. Now he's fighting on the Ronda Rousey fight card. He's saying he felt bad for Johnny Boys. He calls him. He said if he does get released, come on over.
Oh yeah. Now, if that happened, like, yes, John's out of his, like, I don't, and that's the thing. You don't know if John's out of his prime or not. And then that will end up being something 10 years down the road where everyone's like, man, what would have happened if John Jones and, Francis fought in their prime on the UFC and not, and it was in the PFL. But it would still bring more attention over to like, hey, look what the PFL put on that Dana couldn't. Look what they got done that Dana couldn't. So, and especially if they pay them the money that they want and they get it done, oh man, Dana's in trouble. Dana would be in trouble. People be have eyes would be on PFL and people would want to move over to the PFL to get paid.
Yeah, like that's why I don't think he's gonna obviously release him from that stuff, however that goes. But now you're looking going to that too. Because obviously the big one who really set that thing off of people talking when was Ronda Rousey. Because she was just like the White House card effing sucks. It blows. Like everyone knows it. Everyone's talking bad press about it. Dana, they basically dropped the line like, you went corporate. They only care about the Paramount. Like they got $7 billion from Paramount, but fighters still aren't getting paid. And that's why he called out let me pull up. I don't think I had her name on me. Valentina.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Valentina Shevchenko.
yeah. So like that's why she has to sell her tits on OnlyFans. I was like, wow.
I mean, she doesn't have like that's the thing though. When you go to it and you really look at it, she's not 100% wrong. That's why some of these fighters do OnlyFans still. That's why some of these fighters. I mean, shoot, let some of the fighters they're still working full-time jobs or they're working like you know, like they're still going to school, like Raul Rodriguez or yeah, I think that's what I meant. Who just fought recently. Like he's going to college full time and he's still fighting because he's thinking of, like I need to have a backup plan in case this shit don't work and I don't make enough money. I mean, like, yeah, he's gonna get some bonuses here and there, but like, man, I tell you, it's not really feasible for some people to be able to train and stuff. And that's why you have a lot of fighters once they get to like their main event platform, when they start making more, when they sign like that third contract or so, and it's like maybe 8 to 10 years in and they've been dogging and they've been hungry, then it's like, all right, I can finally pay attention to being a full-time fighter, and I'm making enough money to pay my bills and then just be able to focus on fighting. So it's really hard for a lot of people. And that's why they usually go those other routes and avenues because they're not making as much as they thought they were going to make.
Yeah. I mean, Valentina responded and said Ronda's been asleep since 2016. I was like, oh boy, oh boy.
And that's a good call. That's a good call out. That's a good answer. Whoever
So
wrote it for you, or if you thought of it yourself. I mean, either way, good way.
yeah, that's what
Good.
she said. I saw that. She said she's using it to speak to the fans and all of that. And then it just kept going, man. Like Ronda with the car, so I'm getting called out for that. Then Ronda was talking about Cyborg, calling her a cheating, roided up bitch.
Oh yeah.
Like she just kept going, and then obviously Cyborg said she failed one PE test in 21 years. Um,
Oh yeah, with the whole response about her just popping once, and I mean she didn't know about the weight loss stuff that she was taking and how that was tied to oh sorry, I saw Donovan Mitchell just cross somebody and drop him, ankle breaker moment. But anyway, um just with that popping there, and then just her whole situation with the UFC. But Rhonda knows what she's doing here. She's stirring controversy. She's creating headlines. She's generating buzz, creating more hype around this fight. Just like who else? Jake Paul. Whose card is this or whose promotion is this? Jake Paul's. What is she doing? Just generating more buzz for her hate watch, which is going to get more views on the platform, which will get more eyes because people are going to want to see her knocked out for stuff. And I mean, the thing is, some people are agreeing with her because honestly, some of these are rare, like rare Ronda W's, and it's not too often you can say that. But what she's doing is just trying to generate a lot of headlines and a lot of attention onto this card, which I mean makes sense.
Yeah, then obviously Cyborg said like when I was like when you lost, you buried your head in a pillow. You basically ran away from the world.
Yeah,
And
she
when
chose the
I
mental health route apparently.
yeah, then when I lost, I still fought. I just still stuff with humility and all of that jazz. So I it's just crazy what is really transpiring. Shoot, Justin Gaethje, he said he didn't know he was told this that Thursday that he wasn't on
Yeah,
the White House card. He found out that Saturday afternoon.
yeah, which doesn't isn't even a that's a worse look for Dana also because how does your fighter one not know this is your main event and he didn't know
Yep.
until then, which means you had something else in line that didn't happen or fell
Yep.
through. For him to not know and you already have one fighter on the line and then you have the other fighter who the fight was supposed to be with talking about how shit fell through and for Dana to just go and no, it was not Islam. You know, that fight didn't fall through. And then for even you have both fighters confirm pretty much that you lied for
Hmm.
your main event. They said because Gaethje goes, I didn't know until Thursday. Then you also have Tapura who goes live on Twitter and sits there and like, oh, you know, Islam, fuck you for backing out, blah 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 blah. I'm gonna knock out Gaethje now because of this, blah 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 blah. And you know, like for that to be happening just makes it you look even worse. Like it's just stop with the fucking line, stop with the bullshit, and just be honest and be honest and just upfront about everything. And I guarantee that would help your case in a lot of the scenarios right now because right now he's just digging himself a hole and it's going to be so hard to get out of it unless something miraculous happens.
Yeah, I mean, and then it was revealed that this fight, Ronda and Gina, was supposed to happen at UFC. And
Yeah,
Ronda was like, once UFC moved to basically the streaming model, is just not about putting on the best fights possible anymore. Dana is legally beholden to the shareholders and to maximize shareholder value. Unfortunately, now they've taken the reins of the company from Dana White. It's barely recognizable now. They've and Ariel's talked about how Dana and them they have not put on the best fights possible. They haven't done that in a while.
yeah. And it's all this is just even more bad publicity. It's just all bad publicity right now surrounding Dana, and it's not looking good. I mean, yeah, I know he doesn't make all the fights. You got to look at Hunter Goodman and everything too, because I mean, he plays a part in that. But I mean, it is not looking good right now with all this publicity and stuff surrounding them.
Yeah, and then just with all the obviously like 7.7 billion fighters not getting paid, but making record at the gate. I was like, I've been there. That's the WWE model too with TKO and TKO. They don't care. I've said this with the wrestling, bro. They care about those gate fees, and hence why these shows aren't even friendly anymore. Like you have to really save for a long time or have a lot of money to go to these events now.
Yeah, I mean, who do you know who's going to be able to go to the White House event?
That's true.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to have the money for that. Nobody's going to have the ticket for that. I mean, unless you're in that top, you know, 10%, your ass will be at home watching it on Paramount. They don't really care. I mean, this one's more for Trump's show.
Shoot, Chuck, we don't even know fully if how they're doing it. Like Because it's supposed to be some on CBS. Is it only going to be 1 hour on CBS? Is it going to like
That'll
just like,
probably, I mean, it'll probably be like how the past event just was, how like the prelims and maybe the main card.
mhm.
So the last event was just on there, and that's kind of how it was. So I think that'll probably be the model they will follow. It makes the most sense, but hell, what do we know?
Facts of fact. So that's where I'm just real confused about like what they're doing and all this stuff. And again, when you bring up fighting money and all of that, Ch- I feel like Dana needs to respond because this is a lot of heat.
Oh, he won't. He'll deflect. He'll dodge and just try and protect himself. I mean, ultimately, that's the smartest thing he can do is protect himself and just dodge and deflect. But nah, well, telling the truth really is honestly the best way he could go. But dodging and deflecting is kind of what he's done up to this point. That's why he's been sticking by it. So who knows? I'm so sick of this nonsense. I wish they would get it together. That's feel like that's how most people feel. But just like be upfront with the fans, be honest. Don't sit there and beat around the bush and just sugarcoat everything. Don't try and lie your way out of stuff. If something happened that just didn't go right, then something happened that didn't go right. That's just kind of how it is sometimes. But like to dance around the issues and not really address them how he should and lie pretty much to everybody's face, it just feels disrespectful and just shitting on the product.
Yeah, and I feel like now, unbeknownst to these fighters, every all these fighters have been put in a tough spot because of their own coworkers, their own peers. If they do not deliver, it's gonna they're gonna get blamed, and it's not their fault.
Yeah. I mean, that's the name of the game, unfortunately.
I do have a question, bro. Is there any other freaking heavyweight contender more than Gon? Like he's had 5 straight title fights, pretty much.
I mean, if he came back over to the UFC, he'd be the number one contender. I mean, he Dana would either give him a title shot or put him against a number one contender or number two contender.
Like God, Cyril Gane, I've seen him every heavyweight fight.
Oh yeah, Cyril Gane, I mean, just he gets thrown in every single. I mean, lately, every single time he's been fighting for a heavyweight title. But I mean, he does. I mean, the fights he puts on at heavyweights aren't bad. Like, I mean, some of the original ones, like with John Jones, that was a poor execution. I mean, like, buddy, you got to work on your wrestling. But what he did versus Tom Aspinall, where he was going to, it looked like he was winning. He secured himself for another opportunity at heavyweight to be going for the belt just by that performance alone. And that was a short performance.
Oof. Oh man, it's just a situation like this is supposed to be such a big event, and now it's and this card is this, and hey, are we more excited for the Netflix show? Like
It was
that's
a
when I
load of
think you start having
it was a load of
problems.
shit. Like, it was just nothing but bullshit. It was nothing but hype, just generating hype. And the bad thing about it is, like I said, maybe they should have fucking waited to release this. Like you said, they should have maybe just waited until around Memorial Day
Hmm.
or like at this point because shit, the response ain't good and it ain't helping their case in any scenario. So I'll be interested in looking out to see what they do given the scenario they're in now. Like, do you look to maybe see if you can throw on one last like second fight onto the card? Probably not. I mean, realistically, can you at this point? Probably not. But I'm intrigued definitely to see where this goes because
Yeah,
people aren't happy. And yeah, I just I don't know how you can put this in front of the fans and get this response and not do anything about it.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. Like this is just so just
It's
because of the way
underwhelming.
it's yeah.
That's there's the only way I can say about it. It's underwhelming. I think these are great fights. I think it'll be a good card. I think there's some good fights on there. I think they built it out well, but I don't think they built it out well for the type of event they're trying to have.
Yeah, I would have said like if this was and again like the fights if this was a like regular UFC like a 230, 231, I'd be like, "Oh, this is great." Like
Yeah, the people are like, this is stacked. This is loaded. This is great. This is stupendous. But
hmm
you build up the hype around it, and then this is what you give. It's not going to be well received.
right. Right. That's what I think it is. And again, I'm excited. I'm just happy. I mean, the only person who I really said was mandatory for me was Alex. Like Alex needed to be on this card no matter what. But I know Kayla and Amanda are, but there's no other top woman who could have been on this card. That's the thing too. I was looking, I was like, dang, no other woman.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I said. What I said, like you couldn't have called any like women's champion up, and maybe like what's crap Raquel Pennington doing? What's you
hmm
know Zhang? What's she doing? I mean, shoot. I mean, even if it's not a for title, but like, geez, you really ideally want a title, like get one more title in there. Yeah, that would be interesting. But especially if you get a women's champion ship in there, then you have like three championships you can at least say, which would have been a lot better than two. I guarantee you that.
So and it, God, it's just so crazy with this going on and the Jake Paul stuff with that promotion stuff going on and
You got Logan Paul talking shit on Twitter to Le'Veon Bell. You got
then backing up saying WWE called him saying that he can't do it because WrestleMania is that is factual. It is a month away. But people said if you look at Logan Paul's thing when he's pretending he's getting a call from Triple H, his phone is blank.
yeah. It's it's just the Paul brothers. That's just kind of and that's
Yeah.
the thing. That's what they're known for. They're known for generating headlines and generating hate. And that's like hate watch. That's all I call it now is hate watch.
Like what do we man.
State of the combat sports as far as boxing.
Shoot, you got oh man, let me pull since you brought up boxing because I didn't even know. It's just everyone's just saying crazy, reckless things right now because you also have oh, where is she? I hope I didn't erase it because she's the best you got Clarissa Shields talking about how she could knock out a three-time champion in the men's.
Oh yeah. I mean, she she has to be just trying I,
She's like she spars with men all the time, which I believe her.
oh
And
yeah.
like she does all that stuff. That's why she beats women's ass because she's sparring with men's all the time, and I believe her. But and I'm not saying like, oh, you I'm not saying like, hey, she could be like a better like boxer, like like because the person she talked about was like he's a knockout artist. So you know how the trope with knockout artists is they can't really like box per se, but if they hit you, you're dead. But I'm like, come on, girl. If Buddy hits you full throttle, you're going down. Come on.
Without a doubt. And that power just does not transfer the same, and it would not be. She did. People know how to create headlines. That's really all I could say.
Hmm. Yeah.
And in her situation, she's just creating more buzz. But like I said, it gets people talking about it. But yeah, she don't. She knows what would happen.
I just think it's crazy too that Ariel's like acting like Pablo Torres right now, just exposing all this Dana stuff. Saying Dana said he didn't do this, but actually he did. We've talked to this person, we've talked to this. He's got Tom Aspinall, the current champion who's hurt, saying things like, "Oh, I feel bad for John Jones." Even if you do, bro, like that's what I talked at the beginning of the podcast. That's your company. You're making your shit look bad. Just say, hey man, John's situation. I'm focused on getting healthy and I'm cheering for our fighters at the White House. Where's the PR training with these people?
Oh, there is no PR training. Their PR
God.
training is hop on the mic, take do what you want. You're your own person. Just go ahead. You better have a manager. Now, if you have like your own manager and agent and stuff, that's where your PR team and skills come in. But if you don't, it's all on you and what you say and what you do.
Gracious. I don't even. Chuck, was there anything? And then the fact too, this is just how you know that Saturday was crazy. Obviously, the which I don't agree with because we're announced the card during a current UFC event. I get you get more eyeballs on that event, but now you're taking away from the event because a lot of people might be tuning into the event like I don't want to. I just want to hear the White House card and leave.
Oh yeah.
So you're taking away from your event that is currently happening. I don't like that. And then the event that was happening, my gosh, Chuck, you talked about our guy from Ohio was getting hit in the nuts 10 billion times, coughing blood. Like, what was going on?
Yeah, that whole night was just crazy and chaos just in general with the fights. Yeah, you had like three or four fights with a lot of major infractions, knees, kicks to the groin, fence grabbing, and it was just kind of sloppy the way that some of the fights were going. That whole Cody and Yai, I can't remember his last name, but that fight was just sloppy and create like I feel like there's too many mind games being played by both fighters. Both fighters were not in their right headspace or element, and it just led to what we saw. And then you have the main event, which didn't live up to the hype of what everybody thought it was going to be because it's for the BMF belt. Well, now you got everybody also talking about retire the BMF belt.
Yeah,
They're like
that's
it's a
terrible
novelty
too.
toy belt.
Yep.
And then you have that partnered with the fucking fight announcement. Then you partner that with the 2 minute blackout that happened to where people miss 2 minutes of the third round, but then you tune in and it's the same shit. And he's wrestling them and he's just dominating them the whole fight. And
Yep.
so that's just not a good, it was just an all around, not a good look, not a good night for the UFC. And they really, like I said, they dug themselves into a hole and they have to get their way out of it somehow.
Yep. I agree. It's just everything just went wrong in our opinion. Just looking back at that day, it's like I can't believe all this happened. I can't believe all this talk is happening. I can't believe we're talking more about a Netflix freaking show more than the two fit like the UFC America White House show. Like that should not be a thing. We should be talking about this thing every day. Should be leading things. It's gonna be the first real thing on the White House lawn. Like,
And
and I,
and
nah.
it's not what people expected.
But it goes back when you were talking about the BMF though. Why are you trashing your own company stuff? Like, if you want the
Oh yeah.
company to thrive in that, like, why do y'all want the belt retired? Because it's littler people fighting for it. It's not big heavyweight, like
Well,
bantamweights or whatever.
it's more just about it's supposed to be a stand and bang aspect to it. People want what people want is just people to stand and box pretty much, but throw kicks and everything else. They want people to just pretty much not wrestle and not grapple. But that's the thing. It's called mixed martial arts, people. If you
Yep,
don't like that part, then you don't like the sport.
I agree.
It's mixed martial arts. people are going to grapple, people are going to wrestle. If that's my fucking strong suit, and if I'm in a street fight and I'm trying to survive and I can't knock this person out, but I can wrestle them and I can tackle them down to the ground and I can choke them out, that's what I'm going to do. You're going to tell me you're going to stand there and try and fight somebody you know you can't fight? No, you're going to fucking go and wrestle if you know how to wrestle them. I
Yep.
mean, and that's the thing that pisses me off the most. It's like Charles was aggressive and he was actively trying to pursue a finish. He was putting him in chokes. He was putting him in guillotines. He was putting him in all these different other things. But the thing is, Max is a BMF. He held that BMF belt for a reason. He didn't
Yep.
tap.
Yep.
Most people in that predicament would have tapped,
Yep.
and he did it. So I give him props for that.
I would also
But
say with them too, like I hate that this gets overshadowed because those two showed they showed to me what it's about. Like they showed extreme class.
oh
You're in a
yeah,
fight that you're about to beat someone else's ass, and they're so humble with class. They talked about, oh, yeah, like my wife would be the one who puts the butterfly, would my dad be the one who puts the taking a picture after the fight. Like
yeah.
I mean, like being humble. Like,
Families
hey, but
combined.
yeah,
Like that, and that's the thing. It's two selfless people, and those are two humble people who know to put people before themselves.
yeah,
And that's one good thing about, I mean, the UFC. And that's one thing you can always see. And that's one thing I love about the sport. Yeah, at the end of the day, two people are trying to knock each other's heads off. But at the end of the day, you can also shake hands in the octagon and respect each other on a different personal level. It's just a business. It's just a job. I'm just trying to make my money to feed my family, just like you. I
yep,
pray for your health and you pray for mine. And I pray for your family's health and success and you pray for mine. That's what it is. That's what it's about. But at the end of the day, when we start this fight, coming to knock your head off.
yep. That's how I feel like it needs to be. My goodness, Chuck. This is man. This is one of the craziest episodes we've ever had in
I
terms of
mean,
what we've
there's
talked about.
definitely probably something we missed, but I mean, there's like you said, there's so much stuff that's been happening. It's been so crazy. And I like that for combat sports because it's great. It gets more attention. It gets talked about more. This generates more headlines, generates more buzz and more eyes on the UFC. But like I said, I guess you can go back to this saying, not all publicity is good publicity. So
Oh,
even
I
if
do
it's
have something
bad,
else because you brought up
like
fighting. You brought up fighting how obviously Mike Tyson, we talked about it last time, was going to be fighting Floyd. Mike Tyson talked about like young people should be mad at themselves that they haven't developed big enough stars that these old people like Tyson are still generating money.
he's not wrong. I mean, that's honest. As an honest fact, that is true. I mean, there should be other fighters that are good enough at this point. There should be other top ranked boxers that are good enough that are generating a lot of views and attention, but there isn't. I mean, yeah, there's some young and up and coming fighters, but like there's not as many hungry fighters as there used to be. I mean, you used to always have mega fights. I feel like boxing at one point was like bigger than a lot than some other sports, and it just isn't looked at the same anymore because I feel like partially because people are more on the ass on the side of, you know, let's be friends, let's not use violence. But I don't know. I think that there's still some fighters in top rank boxing and WBC and all these other promotions that are putting on stuff where I think they're making good enough money so they don't really care to be, headlining because boxing has good money in it. If even at the lower level. So, and if you don't really care about being super big and you're making just enough, then you really don't care about, the fighting like some people do. Because most people back then were really caring about the name, carrying the fights. They wanted to go against bigger names. They wanted to be the best.
Mhm.
Not too many people care about being the best. They care about making the most or just making money and surviving.
Yeah, yeah. Goodness, Chuck. Now, anything else?
Oh, nothing else really I could think of. Just tune into the L7C. NCAA 26 Dynasty is always my plug.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, be on a lot of content going on, especially this week, a lot of stuff. But man, this was crazy. Just so much crazy UFC stuff, more UFC stuff going, and we'll keep coming back at doing these pods. As crazy as things get, if there's another breaking news thing. Hell, if Dana finds a way to add another match, he said he's been thinking maybe there might be one other match, and if it's crazy, we'll come back on for an emergency pod. We almost did during the White House card announcement. So, with that being said, thank you everyone for listening to L7C podcast. We'll keep you updated on fight news. Y'all take care. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.